And we're live! Naz, Dan, and Marvin, what's up, everyone? Everyone get their hands up. Share Friday, Tech Friday. Super exciting today. Naz is with us and he's going to talk about his trading bot, which is going to be flipping awesome. So I know we're all excited. It looks like everyone's in a t-shirt except for me, so the weather's just bad where I am. So nice weather, nice tech. Marvin's got the long sleeve and the ear pods. I like it.
Yep.
Um, so Naz, before we get started, maybe tell us for 2 minutes about yourself. Why do you
Sure.
love tech? What's your vibe? Give us a little info.
Okay. So I'm originally from Ukraine. I came to UK about 12 years ago. So I'm getting my British passport soon. Yes. And I studied business with finance. Then I moved uh, into maths with coding at UCL, and then moved into hedge funds. Well, hedge fund, and then wealth management company to write the all sorts of investment tools for them. So I've worked for about 4 years in finance in quantitative space, and so when I joined my most recent company, I've been that's where I was introduced to front end development, and I really liked it. There are just so many things I like about coding and maths, so it's very difficult for me to kind of characterize myself. I really like doing anything interesting, scientific, and yeah, that's my background, I suppose.
Awesome. That sounds flipping awesome. So yeah, feel free to take it away. You've got something shared with us. I don't know much about it. All I know is trading bot inverted commas, and it sounds really interesting. So feel free to
Oh,
take it away and ask any
awesome.
questions and share your screen as well if you want.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, if you guys want to interrupt me at any point to make anything clear, if I actually can make it clear, then I'd be very happy to do so. So don't worry about just jumping in. Right. So I've written down some notes for this. I'll share the screen with you.
Perfect.
I think you should be able to see the screen now.
Yeah, there we go.
Cool. So these are the notes just written down. So let's start. I will present to you today a market making bot that I wrote with my friend. We've finished writing it about a year ago. We've been working on it for I think a year and a half, and there were two iterations. The first one saw this complex beast spawn up from our efforts, and there were a lot of problems in it. So this You know what? I think it is better if I actually explain what is market making first. So market making is, as you can see, if you can read my handwriting, but it says quoting on both sides of the order book in an effort to make the spread. So if you ask sorry guys, I'm just gonna. So if you are asking yourself what is the order book, then don't worry, I will explain. This is the order book. If that doesn't explain things, then basically that is how markets usually work. There are people, right, and they post the orders that they wish to trade at. So for example, here we can see that this market is ETH to USDT, and people are placing orders at $272. So this red section are the so-called asks orders, which means those are the quotes of people that wish to sell the asset. And over here, is the bid section. It is the section where people actually want to buy the asset. So what I've just explained about this market making, in a nutshell, it is the goal of it is to make money by placing by placing the orders in this section and in this section at the same time. So imagine that we've placed our order over here and over here. So we'd be making 1 cent, because this is like 33 and 32, and we'd be making 1 cent per 1 ETH traded, 1 USDT cent. Right, so that's the goal of the market making bot. You literally place the orders on both sides of the book at the same time. So that is what that bot is about. And let's read what I've written here. Yeah, I've mentioned that. So this bot that I'll present today is actually the second iteration of the original bot. And
are you sure you're not a doctor with that handwriting?
That's yeah, very good. Maybe look at this. This is like literally like, what do I have to buy at the pharmacy? I don't understand what this is. Like, what? Yeah, so this is the second iteration, and the first one was extremely complex. It was using WebSockets, and we were trying to maintain the state of our trading in that bot, and that was unbelievable. Like, there are so many issues that could happen. Like, one of those issues could be that that the WebSocket simply dropped the message, and you're starting to kind of build up on the state that you have when the message, but even though the message was dropped, and so the quote starts getting incorrect little by little, and that then compounds and gets absolutely awful. So we've made a decision to make it super simplistic, super light, and this is. But obviously, everything that you do in coding and in life, I suppose, is a balance. So when you take out this this WebSocket from the bot, you need to now poll the exchanges, and you will not be able to be as fast as you would have been with WebSockets, because you now need to rate limit your polls, since when you use REST API, people usually impose those kinds of things. And the architecture of this second bot is this. I just like, I wrote this down 15 minutes ago. Explains a lot. There is this execution box, and there's this quoting box, and that is our whole bot. So the quoting mechanism is responsible for polling the exchange to see our bot's state, like how much inventory we have, how much quote base, etc. It also reads the config for each market from the database. So there are a number of parameters that you can specify to kind of tune this bot, right? Like you can say that I want to be quoting the prices on both ends that are like 1% wide, 2% wide. I want to poll the market like every quarter of a second, stuff like that. And the thinking with this was that obviously all of this the bots would trade would work in the cloud. We've used AWS for that, and so when you have this config that gets read from the database, it's very easy for you to update those settings like in real time. So you could imagine even having some model in the background. It can be like a simple one based on some heuristics, or it can be like an AI model or whatnot, and it could read the market. It would be completely independent of all of this, and it would do like live estimation of the most optimized parameters, and it would feed that to the database, would get picked up by quoting, and quoting would update the strategy that it is trading so that is most optimal for that point in time. That was the thinking behind this config, and it's using DynamoDB. So when I actually start this thing locally, I need to run DynamoDB locally, and that's what this thing over here is. It can also decide to stop trading. There is this, okay, this is missing something. There is another component here that is calculating things like the relative strength index, all of that technical analysis goodness that we all love. And it decides if the conditions of the market are correct, that are good for trading or not, because as you could imagine, market making doesn't work very well in the trending markets. If something's trending, then you can you get a lot of stuff on one side but not the other. So say so for example, if it goes up and you just sold all of your ETH, and the market is going up and you're sitting in USDT, then obviously you're losing out, and that's very bad. So that component is designed for the purposes purely to trade in the ranging markets, the ones that don't trend up or down. So the quoting is also responsible. Yep.
Quick question, Naz. So firstly, the markets you guys are executing this on, it's not traditional markets, right? You're using crypto
Correct,
pairs.
yes.
Was that with the sort of, okay. And I guess what's interesting with crypto is a lot of those traditional finance formulas, like the relative strength index, etc. Did that translate well from traditional markets to crypto markets? And did it give you similar levels of confidence that the markets were not trending, etc.?
So it certainly worked for pinpointing the ranging markets, since those things they're not really they don't like they don't live in the space of traditional financial markets, since those things, for example, relative strength index literally calculates whether something is overbought or oversold. So it isn't really a measure that is bound to just the traditional financial markets. So there was no problem with that at all. But the crypto is very volatile, and there are like cases when just gaps down, since there's like absolutely no volume. But those markets are there is an argument that you shouldn't trade on you shouldn't market make on those markets, because they are so thin in volume anyway, and you would expose yourself to a lot of risk there. So we haven't traded this spot on those kinds of markets. But what we did is that we did trade with it on Coinbase. I think it was Ethereum and GBP. That was like beautiful market. And we also tested it on Binance. So to kind of also give you like a quick like what has happened to this, I've literally resurrected this thing yesterday. I haven't touched it for a year. What happened is that Coinbase introduced the trading fees for the people that, or institutions or bots, whatever, that place the limit orders at I think it was 0.5 basis point, I believe. I'm not sure. I think that's the number. Anyway, they've introduced the fees, and it went it just stopped working, and that's how we kind of stopped working on this bot. But there is a lot of I personally think there is a lot of value in this, and so I'm presenting this today, in case there is someone out there listening, or maybe even you guys have ideas about how this could be pivoted, or maybe we can just open source this work, because it's like it's a shame that there's this work but no one's using it. So back to this quoting box over here. So it's also responsible for stopping the trade. So as I've mentioned, if it identifies that the market is trending, it would stop trading, or if there is any other problem, it would stop trading. Also can cancel and resubmit orders, because you need to be competitive with your with the orders that you place, so that the probability of getting a fill is higher. Because you can imagine, for example, you placing an order somewhere very close to the actual price, and then the market goes in a completely opposite direction, and you're not and your just order sits there and does nothing. So that's it. That's quoting, and execution just executes. And we are using a CCXT library, I think that's the name, for all the executions and other stuff, all the execution related stuff. There's this important concept in this bot called significant size. Let me explain what that is. That's like the whole premise of how we are quoting and making the spread. So imagine that, where's my order book? Imagine that, imagine the following. We are placing a sell order somewhere over here, and these two orders in front of us over here, they are very low. No, let me explain this differently. Would be better. We are placing a sell order over here that is like the most competitive order, and then there is someone coming in and just placing the order in front of us and beating us like by 1 cent, for example, right? Like 78, he would place it at like lower than that by 1, so 79, and then he would place 78. But imagine that we are sitting here with like an order for 100 ETH, like I wish, but imagine that. And this guy comes in here with like, 0.001, and it's not really cool. You want to be competitive, but in this case, we would actually let him do that. We wouldn't beat his order purely for the reason that he doesn't, like, his volume is so low that we can afford to lose that small profit if he gets a fill. So this concept of significant size means that we do not compete for those pennies. We compete on volume. And this is just an example of this. I can switch here. There's button depth, and we'll show you the price at which the ETH to USDT is trading. So for example, here, this red section once again is people selling, and green section is people buying. So we can see like the price, for example, here, and how much volume there is for that price. So this concept of volume means that we would only compete if someone with a relatively large volume comes in and tries to beat us, right? Like we have 100 ETH, and then someone in front of us comes in and places 200 ETH. Then it's a problem, and then we would have to beat his order. But this concept of the volume, like how much you need, is precisely the significant size. It defines the amount. So it can be like $1,000, it can be $10,000. So whatever is within $10,000 here, like we don't care at all. We are competing like on the bounds, on the boundaries over here, and that is a very important concept in this bot. So DynamoDB, I've mentioned that. We also started thinking about paper trading in here to optimize the strategies and feed that information through some model into the configs, so they are picked up live. And I'll also show you later the marketing doc that we compiled that is super cheesy, but
Can I ask one quick question? So
yeah,
am I correct in saying you almost place orders in the book in a pair. As you place a sell order, you'll also place a buy order almost. You place them sort of in that parity. So you'll always have one sell order and then a buy order.
Exactly, precisely. But what you could also do is you could kind of fan them out. So you could like you could have multiple levels at which you place it. So you don't need to sit in there with just with a buy and a sell order, a single buy and a single sell order. You can have 5 on one side, 5 on the other side, and you don't need to trade. You don't have to trade just a single market. You can trade 5 of them at the same time, and all of those things are optimizable, and all of those things are a lot of hard work. I mean, as is everything in life, I suppose. So let's do a demo. I've inserted a config into my local Dynamo for ETH to USDT. This market I've just been showing you. And for example, in this case, we are saying that this is the config that gets inserted into the database, and these are the parameters that define the strategy. So usable capital is how much capital we are allowed to trade on this particular market. So this thing, I mean, it works the same as with like permissions, delegation of permissions to spend ETH. Like the higher it is, like the better. Yeah, there is this significant size that I've just talked about, and this thing, I mean, yeah, you already know what this is. Order bid amount is by how. So if we actually do need to resubmit our bids and asks, then by how much we have to beat the order in front of us. Minimum spread is, I think this is basis points. I'm not sure. Yeah, I don't remember. Let's assume that this is like minimum spread. Yeah, I think that's what it is. It means that we need at least 0.25% gap here in the price to actually trade. So if you can see, this one is very tight, 52.49. So I'm afraid if I make it 0.001, it's gonna trade. And quarter poll rate is how often we need to check the exchange to kind of to learn about our bids, our asks, whether anyone actually beat them. That is what this thing is. And if you recall, I've mentioned that this bot now uses REST instead of WebSocket, so you have to be really careful about what you set here, because you may get rate limited and you won't be able to cancel or replace orders. And ignore market conditions is we use that for so we set that to true if we are in the development mode. If it's in production, then obviously you want to only trade in ranging markets. And some parameters to define the RSI, the volume, all of that stuff. So I think I need to quickly run this put item into config so that it updates. So let's do that. I think it's in DB setup scripts, put item into config. I need to source my environment, my Python environment. Bin Python. Yeah, when you do a live stream, you get, you know, you start doing silly things. So forgive me for that. Python and then DB put item. The following market ID. Oh, okay. Actually, I think I've done that yesterday. Yeah, here. Bam. So did it insert the minimum spread? Yeah. Okay, cool. Now I actually start the thing. Gives you like a bunch of stuff first to say like whether thank you. Sorry, I have to just quickly do this. I was testing this yesterday. It was working very strange. It writes this stuff for you, whether like the things in config actually make sense.
The famous demo here. Always something has to go wrong.
I should have warned everyone beforehand.
It's okay.
No, I'll just try and install it here. I think. Bizarre. Okay.
Classic. If you turn off the live stream, I almost guarantee you it will work.
This is so weird. Oh, thank you, universe. It was working yesterday. So
Nice.
there you go. It's this QT thing over here is a quarter. Okay, but anyway, it just failed on the other thing. This is so ridiculous. Yesterday it worked smoothly. Anyway, this QT over here is that quarter that I was talking about, and as you can see, it looked at the market. It took into the consideration the spread, the minimum spread that we've set over here, and it suggested a bid quote of that and an ask quote of that. And the execution module then picked this up and started working on that.
Sure, that's very cool. Awesome.
Yeah, you know what, guys? I don't think anyone wants to watch me debug this, but
no, that's. Dude, this is really cool. It's seriously interesting. I really have you thought what made you guys choose market making as sort of your bot's algorithm or the way you wanted to make money? I know, I guess there's a lot of other types of strategies floating around. Did you consider any other types?
Well, we've certainly thought about a lot of things. One of the modules that I've implemented prior to this company Trader was in relation to I'll respond to you, and at the same time I'll try to make this work. That was based on Bayesian regression, and that thing would look at the market. It would learn about the patterns, the technical analysis patterns from the market itself. You wouldn't have to teach it like what is RSI, and the model was extremely simple. Damn it. Okay. Anyway, but like all of those models, they kind of break at some point. It's very hard to have a model that works all the time. Whereas in market making, when we were looking at the, I guess I could switch back to my camera. Stop screen. Yeah. What was I saying? Yeah. When we were, what was I saying?
You're talking about the other strategy, and whereas market making is different because.
Oh yeah. So it's very hard to maintain a working strategy all the time. At one point it will stop working, whereas market making, it's a very vanilla thing. Like everyone can make money with that. And another reason for why we went with that is there was this time back in the day, a year and a half ago, when the spread on Coinbase used to be absolutely nuts. As in, it was very wide. You could manually walk in, place the trades on both sides, and make that spread. Like my co-founder Tristan, he was actually doing that before we wrote this thing. He was placing orders on both sides of the book, and he would like, you know, ping me with a message on WhatsApp. Yo, Naz, I've just made like a 50 pounds placing this this order like in 10 minutes. I'll do this again. I was like, what? I've looked at the market. I was like, Jesus Christ, indeed you can do that. And a weekend project grew into a 2-year long marathon to give you this thing that I just showed that crashes in 10 seconds. I'm kidding, it's not that bad. Yesterday it was smooth. I promise you. I'll make a video and I'll send it through to you so that everyone can enjoy. But yeah, that is the reason why we went with market making. But after attending Kernel, I've realized that that is not the way you do things. You do not do things for 2 years and then they don't work. You do it in 1 week, you prototype fast, you learn whether it works, and then you keep working. And this is awful. And so I'm really happy that I could actually share this work with everyone. And as I said, if anyone's interested, then we'll probably open source this thing, and would absolutely love to work with some cool people on this. And in fact, like just before all of this get finished, we were thinking about this model called Avelanda Stoikov. I'm not sure whether I pronounce it correctly. Uses stochastic processes to determine the optimal quotes for the bids and asks side, but that maths is a bit hard. So if there's a very insanely cool mathematician who could maybe tell us that this is useless, but in fact I don't think it is useless, because it has been said to be like a golden standard in finance. This market making model. It takes into account your order book, like what is the probability that you'll get an order at this price away from the mid price. It looks at your inventory and it determines whether you are likely to get, I think it's called adverse selection. The example that I've just explained to you, where you sit on one side and you lose out on the other. So it takes into account all of those things. And then once again, right, like this model, it's only optimal if it is optimal, which it probably is. It's only good for a single market. Like imagine that you have 10 of them or 20 of them at the same time, and then this model wouldn't be optimal like for all of them combined. There are a lot of fascinating things, but once again, it all boils down to kind of your 20% effort for 80% of the results. Was this worth it? Maybe. I've learned a lot, but maybe not. Probably not. I don't know. So it's a philosophical question. I don't know.
Really, really awesome. I'm so glad you shared that with us. Super fascinating. So what did you ever run the bot? Like, what is the kind of success of after building it?
Thank you very much. I've actually forgot about one thing that I had to show exactly in relation to that. So thank you for that question. I'll pull up my WhatsApp, so don't read my messages, please. Tristan, where is this thing? There. This is our marketing doc. As I said, it's very cheesy, so just skip all of that stuff and just look. Sorry?
Just if you're not sharing anymore your screen, so just click share your screen.
Oh yes, thank you. Otherwise, that's very good. Those messages were absolutely awful. I'm just kidding. Can you see it now?
Hold on, let me check it out.
Yes. Yeah, you can.
There we go. Got it.
So we've tested this thing on Coinbase on, is there a way to just make one page? Whatever, it doesn't matter.
Yes, called Go File. Actually,
what?
go on the left, just below the X button, the red X button, and then click on it. Yeah, click on that and go continuous scroll.
Single page.
Or single page.
Or continuous scroll. Cool. Thank you. So this is for, let me show you this again. This is the very professional doc, as you can see, like registered company number, you know, like very professional, amazing. And then there is this Coinbase case study that we've included. So we've run this thing for what, 13 to like 5 days. This was with that more complex thing that was actually keeping the state. You know, if you could show this to someone, like you're starting a hedge fund and you would show this equity curve to potential investors, they would just like sell their house and give you the money if this was scalable. Like 14% in 5 days is amazing, but the capital was very low. There were absolutely no fees on Coinbase. Average trade size. This is the volume that we generated in those 5 days with 350 pounds. So absolutely insane. 3 basis points. The spread that we've maintained, and the second session we've tried to scale this with more money. So we've invested 955 pounds, and once again it's just absolutely amazing. But this was 7%. You would expect that since you were scaling the strategy. But on the other hand, this is only 4 days. It's 1 day, doesn't matter. Not a big difference. Yes, those are the. That's our testing with the real money. So in the reply to Denim.
Very cool. That's awesome. Where do we sign up, eh?
Yeah, for what? for this crashing bot.
Naz, that was absolutely awesome. Thank you so much for taking us through that. If you have any links and anything, I'll get those from you and I'll put them in the description below. Otherwise, huge vibe to have you on. If there's any final market making bots, last words you want to say, go for it. Otherwise, we'll see everyone next Friday.
Okay, let's make market making great again.
I love it.
Love it.
Awesome. Cheers, guys. Thanks so much.
Thank you, guys. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. Thanks for presenting.